Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A rather strange theory has been floated by the country that launched apparently a global war against terrorism. A country that took out Osama bin Laden on Pakistani soil, rightly so, without Islamabad's support in their apparent commitment to the war against terror. An apparent country that sees it as their moral right to go into country after country after country after country after country. Every second country in the world they enter, saying it is their moral obligation to enter these countries to fight terrorism. From Afghanistan to Iraq to Libya, everywhere. But now, ladies and gentlemen, that same country, the White House has said that an Indian national is involved in a plot to kill Khalistani terrorist Pannoon, and the United States is so keen to protect this terrorist that they foiled the plot, they say. But even in their press release is written with disclaimers saying these are merely accusations. Nothing is verified. Even their own press release cannot concretely explain who is this Indian Nick Gupta. And how is he an Indian asset, as they seem to suggest. If you go through their own press release, even their own press release cannot explain how Indian intel agencies are part of this grand plot. It is only suggestive insinuations. I will poke holes in their American argument later. But the question is that isn't it strange that Washington is going out on a limb for a terrorist? Washington is going absolutely crazy protecting a terrorist. Washington is going out of its way to defend a terrorist. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, imagine this, and this is as clear as it can get. Imagine Al-Zawahiri or Osama bin Laden going around and shopping in Manhattan. And imagine if the British government were to develop a spine and go into America and eliminate Osama bin Laden, who was shopping in Manhattan. And imagine then, after that, if the Americans would say, how dare you kill Osama bin Laden? He has a right to live. So what if he's hijacking, killing, flying planes into buildings, but he has a right to exist? The man has human rights. Viewers, Washington is today openly batting for the rights of a terrorist who's operating on their soil. And what kind of terrorist is this? A terrorist who does not even seek deniability. A terrorist who from American soil says, I'm going to carry out hijackings, I'm going to kill people, I'm going to plot, I'm part of a plot and a conspiracy to kill Indian politicians, Indian religious figures. I just don't understand what the Americans are doing here. A classic American bargain against the growing independent prowess of India. Ladies and gentlemen, my view is absolutely clear. One, we must investigate whether this Pannoon terrorist is a CIA asset. You can't rule out the possibility that Pannoon, who has got shelter in the US and in Canada, is part of a larger CIA game to muscle flex because of their insecurity against the growing influence of India in the world. There are too many blank spots in this narrative, ladies and gentlemen. And my overall perspective is this. Let us be clear, there is no bromance and there never will be any romance diplomatically, militarily or strategically between India and the United States of America. We have to work with the US, but we must understand the Americans have never been on anyone's side. The Americans today with India, the Indian economy being close to 4 trillion, are intrigued by India. They want to do business with India. The moment we grow beyond 8 to 10 trillion, they will compete with India. And the moment we grow to 12 to 15 trillion, which won't take very long at the rate which we are growing, it will be all-out battle with the Americans because their influence will recede and we as the third largest economy will eat into their space. The Americans like to bargain. And the message Biden is sending out is this. We are going to dangle this as a Damocles sword over you. unless you give us entry into your markets. This is as clear as it can get. I think we should stare the Americans back and tell them to take a walk. We must tell them that A, we are not responsible, B, we are not answerable, and C, that the same person they are nurturing on their soil is also a person who should be convicted and extradited back to India under international laws. The time has come to look them back in the eye and give them a piece of our mind. Let's debate.